Hi guys, EV here. Welcome to a new video. Today I will do a Nuzlocke challenge in the Alolan region in the Gen 7 games. So, Alola gives us 119 Pokemon more, and all of those 119 new Pokemon, who knows what can come out from the grass and the sea for us to use. So, the rules for this challenge is, if a Pokemon faints, is dead and must be boxed or released. I can only catch the first wild Pokemon in each route. Every time I defeat a kahuna, that place will be my checkpoint. If I black out, I must reset from my last checkpoint. I will be playing set mode. My level cap will start level 20 and increase always 10 levels for the next kahuna. If it goes over level, I will put it in the box until it can be used again. This means this rule will bring advantages, but it will also bring disadvantages for myself. I can't heal in battle, I'm only allowed to use health items. And I'm only allowed to use Pokemon from Gen 7, or Pokemon from previous generations that will evolve into Pokemon from Gen 7. And of course, this generation brings for the first time the regional variants, and regional variants from Gen 1 Pokemon. For example, my beloved Fire-type Vulpix now has an Ice-type variant of itself. And since the regional variants were introduced in the Gen 7 games, I will count them as well as Pokemon from Gen 7, so I'm allowed to catch them. So, put a like on that video, subscribe to my channel, Eevee will appreciate, and come with me in this adventure. So, we start in our holy outskirts, and our first mission with the professor is go find Lily. We found her, and we saved this little one from some Spearows. After that, the kahuna from the island asked me to choose a starter. And of course I go with Litten, because it's a fire type, and I name it Red Tiger. I wonder what would happen if it would be shiny. What name I would give it. Next we have the rival battle with How, but of course for someone who chooses the starter weak to mine, this fight is very easy. Then after that on Route 1 I catch a Piggypack and I name it Bird Cannon. Then we have another battle with How, which we easily won using only Red Tiger. And then after the festival, Lily takes me to the professor's lab and I wonder what's going on in there. Really, Lily? That's what you're thinking? Either way, after that awkward moment, we go visit the trainer's school, and in here I catch an Alolan Grimer, which I named Dark Sludge. After we take care of everything here, we reach our holy beach, and I decide to change my hair, of course, why not? In here I can also catch another Pokemon, an Alolan Meowth, which I named Tom. Then I have a fight with Lilima, where we Smeargle end up killing Bird Cannon. I'm sorry buddy, rest in peace. On Route 2 I catch a Yungoos, which I named Charmed. After that it's time to face Ilima's trial. I go with Dark Sludge to poison Alolan Raticate. Of course it has a Pecha Berry to heal the poison, so it summons its allies, so like that I can poison both of them at the same time. Then I start to attack with the Acid Spray, while Alolan Raticate lowers Dark Sludge's defense, and Alolan Rattata attacks with Quick Attack and Tackle, until our Oranberry heals Dark Sludge, but of course Dark Sludge has its defense so low that I have to switch for Red Tiger. Then Alolan Raticate goes down, leaving only Alolan Rattata to deal with. Then Alolan Rattata goes for Quick Attack, and after Red Tiger heals itself with its Oranberry, a simple Fire Fang takes down Alolan Rattata, winning the trial. Then here in the Verdant Cavern, I actually catch an Alolan Rattata for myself and I name it Emil. Then on the Milli Meadow, I found a Cutiefly, which I catch and I name it Fairy Bee. Then we have another fight against How, but Dark Sludge takes care of his Pikachu and Rowlet very easy. And after that I level up some of my team until level 20, and Red Tiger evolve into Torracat and Charmed evolve into Gumshoos. So now it's time to face Hala, the fighting type kahuna. It starts with Monkey and I go with Fairy Bee. And I didn't notice before that this Pokemon was so under-leveled. Okay, sorry guys, I was thinking that his Pokemon was maybe level 19 at least, but it seems not. I will try to be more careful next time. Either way, I finish Monkey with some Draining Kisses, next is Makuhita and 2 Draining Kisses takes it down. Last is Crabrawler, which uses its Z move, but after some Draining Kisses, Crabrawler goes down, winning the first Grand Trial. Now we go to Akala Island, and here we fight with Sina, one of the assistants from the Professor of Kalos, and she gets humiliated by Red Tiger. Oh, and Red Tiger also humiliate Ow. And here in Paleolin Range, I catch a Mudbray, which I named Dirt. And then we fight Gladian, which almost takes down Red Tiger, but we manage to win. I also catch a Grubin on Route 5 and I name it Shock Beetle, and I evolve it right away into Charjabug. Then I go to Lana's trial, so the totem Wishiwashi shows up and I send Shock Beetle. I go first with Mudslap, then Wishiwashi goes for Soak, then call for another Wishiwashi. I go then for Charge, the smaller Wishiwashi goes for Aqua Ring, while the large one goes for Water Gun, which makes pathetic damage for Shock Beetle. I go for another Charge, while both of them go for Helping Hand and Growl. Then I start to go for Spark, which doesn't do that much. I go then for Mud Slap to lower Wishiwashi's accuracy. Of course, then the totem Wishiwashi heals itself with a Citrus Berry. I go for some more Mud Slaps, then I start to attack both of the Wishiwashis. After some damage, the large Wishiwashi becomes smaller, so on the next turn I can take it out with another Spark. And then on the next turn I take down the other Wishiwashi, winning the Water Trial. Kiawe's trial is next, and I defeat him using only Dirt, so it was very easy. And in here on Wella Volcano Park I catch a Cubone, and this one I name it Firebones. Next is Malo's trial, and we are going to face the totem Lurantis. I send Red Tiger, Lurantis goes for X-Scissor, and I go for Fire Fang, making almost half damage. Then Lurantis calls for Cast Form, Lurantis goes for Synthesis to heal back to full, then I use Lick, and I paralyze it. The Cast Form uses Sunny Day, which will be good and bad for us at the same time. The Sun will boost our fire attacks, but it will also allow Lurantis to use attacks from 2 turns in 1 turn, and also heal more with Synthesis. Then I go for Fire Fang again, which makes more damage because of the Sun, and Lurantis only goes for Razor Leaf. Oh, okay then. Then Cast Form attack with Headbutt, another Fire Fang, and Lurantis goes down. Red Tiger receives another Headbutt from Cast Form, then I change for Dirt, which receives an Headbutt, then Dirt receives a Weather Ball that almost kills Dirt, but we survive on just 8 HP, and then we use Bulldoze. But unfortunately it's not enough, and Cast Form survives on the red. I understand that now it's not safe to stay, so I change Dirt for Fairy Bee, which receives another Weather Ball, but then a Silver Wind takes down Cast Form, finally winning the Grass Trial. Damn! If Cast Form had a critical hit, we would lose Dirt for sure. On Diglett's Cave I catch, well, a Diglett. Well, an Alolan Diglett. I name it Tangle Mole. On the way, Fairy Bee evolves into Ribbon Bee, then we have to face Olivia, the Rock-type Kahuna. She starts with Nosepass and I go with Dirt. I go with High Horsepower, which makes more than half to Nosepass, then Nosepass goes for Rock Slide, which doesn't do that much, then a Bulldoze takes Nosepass down. Next is Boldor, I go for Stomp first to break it sturdy, while Boldor goes for Headbutt. Then I go for High Horsepower, which actually doesn't take it down. So we lost a turn to break it sturdy for nothing. So then I use 2 Bulldozes and Boldor goes down. Last is Lycanroc, which goes for a bite that makes Dirt flinch. Damn! Lycanroc goes for another bite, but Dirt can attack with Bulldoze, making more than half. Lycanroc goes for another bite, but another Bulldoze takes Lycanroc down, winning the second Grand Trial. Then we go visit the Aether Foundation and we have to deal with this Ultra Beast easily with Dirt. After that we go to Ula Ula Island. And after a battle with Moraine, Dirt finally evolves into Mudsdale. Then it's time to face Sophocles' trial. Vikavolt shows up and I go with Dirt. Vikavolt goes for Charge while I go for Double Kick. Vikavolt calls for Charjabug, then Vikavolt goes for Bug Bite while I use High Horsepower to take down Charjabug. Vikavolt goes for another Bug Bite while I go for Stomp, making a crit on the process. Then Vikavolt calls for another Charjabug, then Vikavolt goes for another Bug Bite while I use another Stomp on Vikavolt and take a bite from Charjabug. Then I change for Fairy Bee, taking some damage from both of them. Then I go for Draining Kiss, but then Vikavolt makes a lot of damage to Fairy Bee with Spark. Unfortunately, Charger Bug only goes for Thunder Wave. I know that probably they go for an electric move, so I change for Fire Bones, which is still immune. Then Fire Bones takes a Bug Bite and a Bite from them. Then a critical hit Headbutt does a little more damage. Then I change for Red Tiger, which takes a lot of damage from Bug Bite and a Bite from both of them. Then I use Fire Fang to take down Vikavolt. Then Charger Bug goes for Thunder Wave, but then another Fire Fang takes down Charger Bug, winning the trial. This was close. Then I tried to catch a Minior, but it used Self-Destruct, which means no Minior and no encounters on this route. Oh well. Then we have to fight against Guzma. He starts with Golisopod and I go with Shock Beetle. We get hit by first impression, and I use the electric Z move, Gigavolt Evoke, which makes enough damage to activate Golisopod's ability Emergency Exit. Then Guzma sends Ariados, so I change for Red Tiger, which takes a Fell Stinger and a Sucker Punch. Then I go for Fire Fang to take down Ariados. Next, of course, is Golisopod again, so I change for Dark Sludge, which takes a lot of damage with Razor Shell. So I change for Fairy Bee, and Golisopod misses Razor Shell, so I go for Draining Kiss, which still leaves Golisopod on the red. Then a Razor Shell also leaves Fairy Bee on the red, so I go for another Draining Kiss, which is enough to take down Golisopod, winning the fight. Damn, that was close. And of course, Firebones finally gets enough experience to evolve into the Alolan Marowak. Then Hapo shows up and shows me how to ride my dirt, Mudsdale. That's nice. Then it's time to face the Ghost-type trial, a Sorola's trial. And on the way to the totem, Red Tiger evolves into Incineroar. Nice. Then it's time to face the totem Mimikyu. I send Red Tiger and I use First Lake to break its disguise ability. Then Mimikyu summons Haunter. Haunter then goes for Sucker Punch and Mimikyu goes for Play Rough, making a lot of damage. Then I use the Z move from Red Tiger, Malicious Moonsault, making a lot of damage to Mimikyu, but still not enough to take it down. Then I change for Firebones, which takes very well a Play Rough from Mimikyu, and Haunter misses an Hypnosis. Then I change for Dirt, which takes a Shadow Claw from Mimikyu. I go for Bulldoze, leaving Mimikyu on the red. Another Bulldoze takes Mimikyu down, then Dirt grows to level 34 where it learns Heavy Slam, which I use to take down Haunter, winning the trial. Not bad, but Dirt, you could learn that move more earlier, don't you think? Either way, we have to fight Plumeria next. She starts with Golbat and I go with Red Tiger. Golbat goes for Confuse Ray and I go with Fire Fang. Next, Golbat uses Poison Fang and I go with Darkest Lariat, leaving Golbat on the red. We take another Poison Fang, which poisons Red Tiger, but another Fire Fang takes Golbat down. Next is Salazzle, so I change for Dirt, which takes a Flame Burst. Then Salazzle goes for Toxic, but a Bulldoze is enough to take it down and win the fight. Then we go to this city, where it was taken by Team Skull, and we have to face Guzma again. It starts with Golisopod and I go with Shock Beetle. We take a first impression and then we go for Gigavolt Evoke, which makes enough damage to activate Golisopod's emergency exit, which brings Ariados out, so I change for Dirt, which takes a Fell Stinger, then we take another Fell Stinger, then I go for Bulldoze, making a lot of damage to Ariados. Then Guzma changes Ariados for Golisopod, which takes a high horsepower. We survive on the red a Razor Shell, then we hit the Bulldoze, which is not enough to take down Golisopod. But we lower its speed, which means I'm faster now and another Bulldoze takes down Golisopod. Last is Ariados, we take a Fell Stinger, but then Ariados goes down with a high horsepower, winning the fight. Then we have to fight Gladian, which goes down easily, and Dark Sludge finally evolves into a Alolan Mug. Then we finally are able to face Nano, the Dark-type kahuna. It starts with Sableye and I go with Fairy Bee. Of course Sableye first goes for Fake Out, then on the next turn I go for Dazzling Gleam, making a lot of damage to Sableye. Then Sableye uses Power Gem, also making a lot of damage, but since we are faster, another Dazzling Gleam takes down Sableye. Next is Alolan Persian, so I change for Dirt, which takes a Power Gem. Then we take the Alolan Persian's Z move, Black Hole Eclipse on 12 HP to make just a little damage with double kick. So I change for Dark Sludge, which takes very well a Dark Pulse. Then Alolan Persian goes for a Power Gem and I go for Poison Gas to poison Alolan Persian. Of course Nano will heal it, so I go again for another Poison Gas to poison again Alolan Persian. Alolan Persian then goes for Power Gem and I go for Venom Drench, lowering Alolan Persian's attack, special attack and speed. Then we take another Power Gem and I go for Crunch, also lowering its defense. Then I change for Red Tiger, but Nano heals Alolan Persian back to full. Then I change for Red Tiger, but Nano heals Alolan Persian back to full, but it still has the poison, so no problem. We take 2 Power Gems before we put Alolan Persian down with 2 Thrash. Next is Krokorok, so I change for Fire Bones to take an Earthquake and gets disabled thanks to Fire Bones' ability Cursed Body. So now I can change back to Red Tiger to take an Insurance, then we take it out with Malicious Moonsault's Z-move, winning the 3rd Grand Try. Then we have to go Hyder Paradise again. Here on Hyder Paradise, Faba was easy, and then we meet Guzma and he starts with the Lysopod and I go with Shock Beetle. We get hit by a first impression, making a lot of damage. Then I use the Z move, Gigavolt Avok, taking a Lysopod right away. Next is Masquerain, so I change for Red Tiger, which takes a Bug Buzz. We take another Bug Buzz, but a Flamethrower takes down Masquerain. Next is Pinsir, so I change for Dirt. And we take a Brick Break and then an X Scissor, then I go for Heavy Slam. Then we take another X Scissor and I go for High Horsepower. On the next turn we take another X Scissor and Pinsir goes down with another Heavy Slam. Last is Ariados and we take a Fell Stinger, leaving Dirt on 15 HP, and I go for High Horsepower, doing a lot of damage. Then we take another Fell Stinger, leaving Dirt on 3 HP before taking out Ariados with a Bulldoze, winning the fight. Damn, this was close. Then we have the fight against Lusamine. She starts with Clefable and I go with Dirt. We take 2 Moon Blasts, but 2 Heavy Slams takes down Clefable. Next is Lilligant, so I change for Fairy Bee. Lilligant goes for a Titty Dance, leaving Fairy Bee confused. Fairy Bee hits itself in Confuse while Lilligant uses Stun Spore, leaving Fairy Bee paralyzed. That's just great. But Fairy Bee gets through all of the confusion and the paralysis and hits a Bug Buzz to take it down. Next is Miss Magius, so I change for Dark Sludge. Miss Magius goes for Power Gem and I go for Minimize. On the next turn, Miss Magius misses the attack and I go for another Minimize. Miss Magius goes for another Power Gem and I go for a last Minimize. And then actually a Crunch is enough to take down Miss Magius. So next is Milotic and it misses an Hydro Pump, so I go for a Poison Gas, leaving Milotic poisoned. Then Milotic goes for Safeguard while I go for Crunch, and with the poison Milotic stays on half health. Then I change for Shock Beetle, which takes an Hydro Pump, leaving on the red. Then I change for Fairy Bee, which also survives on the red by an Hydro Pump. Then I change for Fire Bones, but Milotic goes for Flailul, which Fire Bones is immune. And all of these switches was for the poison take more damage to Milotic, and actually Milotic was going for Hydro Pump, but it missed, so we take down Milotic with a Headbutt. And next is Beware, which is great because Beware only knows fighting type moves, which means it doesn't have a way to hit Fire Bones. So after a long time using Headbutt and Boomerang, and this took a little while, because Beware lowered Fire Bones' attack with Baby Doll Eyes. But I wasn't worried, so after a while, Beware goes down and we win the fight. Then we go to Pony Island. Then here on Pony Wilds I catch a Crabrawler and I name it Boxer Crab. And then on the altar we see Apu becoming the new kahuna of this island, so she will be the one we need to face later. We take a trip to Executor Island, we take the Moon Flute, and then we go face Hapu, the ground type kahuna. She starts with Alolan Dugtrio and I go with Dirt. Dugtrio goes for Sandstorm and I go for High Horsepower to take down Dugtrio. Next is Gastrodon and I go for an Earthquake, making a third. Then we take a Muddy Water. Then I change for Dark Sludge, which takes a Muddy Water. Then I go for a Poison Gas, leaving Gastrodon poisoned, and we take a Mud Bomb, leaving Dark Sludge on 32 HP. Of course Hapu heals the poison while I go for Minimize, so I go for another Poison Gas and then Gastrodon misses Mud Bomb. I go for another minimize and Gastrodon misses another Mud Bomb. I go for another minimize and Gastrodon misses again. Hapo heals with an Hyper Potion while I go for a Crunch. Then I go for another Crunch, but Gastrodon survives on the red and lands a Mud Bomb, which takes down Dark Sludge. Gastrodon goes down because of the poison, but Dark Sludge goes down as well, so what can I do now? I send Boxer Crab while Hapo sends Flygon, but Flygon takes down Boxer Crab with an Earthquake right away. So I send Fairy Bee to take 2 Earth powers, then 2 Dazzling Gleams takes down Flygon. Last is Mudsdale, so I change for Dirt for a mirror match, which I'm sure we could lose. Either way, we take an Heavy Slam, then I go for an Earthquake, but then Mudsdale uses its Z move, Tectonic Rage. And of course, Dirt goes down, so I send Red Tiger. And I use Darkest Lariat, taking more than half damage, but then my starter goes down with an Earthquake. Next, I send Shock Beetle. Here I was already accepting my fate, so I go for Crunch. Then Shock Beetle survives an Earthquake, so I go again for another Crunch. And then Shock Beetle goes down with another Earthquake. I send my last Pokemon, Fairy Bee. Then I go for a Dazzling Gleam, which actually takes down Mudsdale, and we win the last Grand Trial. Huh. I mean, all of the sacrifice of all my team was for that Fairy Bee had a chance to win? But was it worth it though? No, I can't think like that. I will not let their deaths to be in vain. I see the corpse of Shock Beetle evolve into Vikavolt, and I see that we need to continue forward and win the rest of this challenge for those who was left behind. So I put the corpses of Dirt, Red Tiger, Dark Sludge, Shock Beetle and Boxer Crab on the box, and I bring with me Tanglemole, Charmed, Tom, Emil and Firebones. And now it's time for a training montage. While I train my team, I also get some more TMs that I think I will need, and then it's time to face the Dragon Trial. Komoho. Komoho shows up and I go with Fairy Bee. Komoho goes for Protect, but that it's not a problem because I go for Quiver Dance. Komoho then brings the ally, Komoho. That's so difficult names. I go then for another Quiver Dance, then Komoho goes for Flash Cannon, which Fairy Bee can take it very well, and Komoho goes for Automatize. I go then for Dazzling Gleam, while Komoho goes for Protect, which means that only Komoho goes down. But then on the next turn, Komoho falls as well with Dazzling Gleam, winning the trial. Then I go with Lily, bring in Lunala, and then we get into the Wormhole. And in here, we need to face Lusamine, and all of her Pokemon have a boost. She starts with Clefable, and I go with Tanglemole, and I use 2 Iron Heads to take down Clefable. Next is Milotic, so I change for Fairy Bee, and Milotic just goes for Safeguard. Then I go for Quiver Dance, and Milotic misses an Hydro Pump, which is good. Then I go for Energy Ball, making half damage. Then Milotic hits an Hydro Pump, making half damage to Fairy Bee. Then another Energy Ball takes Milotic down. Next is Mismagius, so I change for Tom. I go then for Shadow Claw, then we take a Power Gem, but another Shadow Claw takes Mismagius down. Next is Beware, and I change back to Fairy Bee. Then I use the Fairy Z move Twinkle Tackle to take down Beware in one shot. Next is Lilligant, so I use Bug Buzz, but Lilligant survives on the red, but it only goes for Stun Spore, which misses, so another Bug Buzz takes Lilligant down, and we win the fight. Then we are forced to catch the Lunala to progress in the story, and after that we are taken right away next to the Victory Road, where we face Gladia. It starts with Crobat and I go with Charmed. Crobat goes for Cross Poison and I use Yawn. Then I change for Emil, which takes an acrobatics before Crobat falls asleep. I go for Blizzard first, making half damage thanks to Hail. Then on the next turn I take down Crobat with an Hyper Fang. Next is Lucario, so I change for Fire Bones, which is immune to fighting types, which I predict that it was going to use against Emil. We take a Metal Claw, then a Flame Charge makes more than half to Lucario. Then we take another Metal Claw, and then another Flame Charge takes down Lucario. Next is Silvally with a Water type, so I change for Fairy Bee on a Crunch. Then we take a Water type multi-attack, then I use the Grass type Z-move Bloom Doom, which Silvally survives on the red, but it goes down with the Hail. Last is Weavile, so I change for Tom to take the Ice Shard, then we take another Ice Shard, then I use Power Gem to make some damage. Then I realize I can't win this battle without a sacrifice, so I change for Charm to go down with 2 Ice Shards. Then I send Tanglemole, which survives on 3 HP by Night Slash, then an Iron Head takes down Weavile, winning the fight. Yeah, I lost another Pokemon, but no worries, I have another one in mind, which is guaranteed to be on our team, because it's the only Gen 7 Pokemon that shows up here, in Mount Lanakila, a Drampa, which I catch with a Quick Ball and I name it Gramps. I mean, why not? Then before we challenge the league, we have a last fight with Hau. It starts with a Alolan Raichu and I go with Fairy Bee. We take a Thunderbolt while I use Quiver Dance to raise our attack and speed. Then on the next turn, I take down Raichu with a single Bug Buzz. Next is Vaporeon, I go for Energy Ball, which only makes half, but Vaporeon misses the Hydro Pumps, so another Energy Ball takes it down. Next is Decidueye, so I change for Gramps, which is immune to Spirit Shackle because of its normal typing. Then Decidueye goes for Lift Blade, which only raises our attack thanks to Gramps' abilities, Sap Sipper. Then I go for a Dragon Pulse, which crits and makes more than half damage. Decidueye goes next for Smackdown, but goes down right away with another Dragon Pulse. Last is Komala, so I change for Emil, which takes a lot of damage from Earthquake. Then I go for Hyper Fang, which makes a lot of damage, and we get a Flinch. Nice! But still I change for Fire Bones on a Wood Hammer, which doesn't do that much. We survive, then an Earthquake on 27 HP, then a Brick Break takes down Komala, winning the fight. Thank you, can we move on now? So now it's time to face the Elite Four. I decided to go first with Hala, the fighting type specialist. It starts with Hariyama and I go with Fairy Bee. I start with a Quiver Dance and Hariyama goes for close combat. Not too much damage, so I go for another Quiver Dance and Hariyama goes for another close combat. If it's not a crit, Fairy Bee should survive another one, so I risk it and I go for another Quiver Dance. Then Hariyama goes for another close combat and we survive. So then I go for Dazzling Gleam, taking down Hariyama, Abominable, Poliwrath, Primeape and Beware, winning the fight. Next is Olivia, the rock type specialist. She starts with Relicanth and I go with Gramps. Relicanth goes for a Yawn and I go for Dragon Pulse, making more than half damage. Then I go for Extrasensory, but Olivia switches for Carbink. Then Gramp falls asleep, but our Lumberry wakes it up. But I can't stay here with a Fairy type on the field, so I change for Tanglemole, which can take a Moonblast. Then I go with Iron Head to take down Carbink. Next Olivia sent back Relicanth, so I switch for Gramps again, and Relicanth misses the Hydro Pump. So next Relicanth uses Yawn again, and I use a Dragon Pulse to take down Relicanth. Next is Lycanroc, which goes for Stone Age. I go for Fly, and Lycanroc actually goes for the Z move, which of course misses because I was using Fly. Since Gramps now fall asleep, I change for Tanglemole, and Lycanroc misses another Stone Age. Then I go for Earthquake, making more than half, and Lycanroc goes for Crunch, leaving Tanglemole on the red. Then another Earthquake takes Lycanroc down. Next is Probopass, and I was prepared to let Tanglemole go, so I go for Earthquake, leaving Probopass on its 30. But Probopass only goes for Sandstorm, so after some healing from Olivia, Probopass goes down. Last is the Alolan Golem, so I change for Fairy Bee on a Steamroller. Then I go for Psychic, which I know that won't take that much, but I wanted to know what Golem would use, and it's Thunder Punch. So, hoping that it goes again for Thunder Punch, I change back to Tanglemole, which is immune, then I use Earthquake to take down Golem, winning the fight. Next is Acerola, the Ghost type specialist. She starts with Sableye and I go with Fairy Bee. Sableye of course goes for a priority fake out. But on the next turn I take it out with a single Dazzling Gleam. Next is Frostlass, so I change for Emil, and Frostlass misses a Blizzard. Frostlass goes for Confuse Ray, but Emil gets through that and hits a Crunch, taking down Frostlass. Next is Delmise, so I use first an Ice Beam, and then Delmise uses Energy Ball. On the next turn I use Crunch, making more damage, and another Energy Ball from Delmise leaves Emil on the red. Then Acerola heals, but then 2 more Crunches are enough to take it out. Next is Palossand, so I change for Gramps to absorb the Giga Drain, then we take an Earth Power, and then I go for Dragon Pulse, then I change for Tom to take an Earth Power, then on the next turn I go for Shadow Claw, and then Tom falls with another Earth Power. So I send next Emil to take down Palossand with a Crunch. Last is Driftblim, and since it only knows Omnious Wing, which is a Ghost type move, I change for Gramps. That way Driftblim doesn't have a way to attack Gramps, and I can attack Driftblim with Dragon Pulses and Extra Sensory. And yes, it takes a lot of time, especially when Acerola heals Driftblim back to full. But eventually Driftblim goes down, winning the fight. Next is Kahili, the Flying type specialist. She starts with Skarmory and I go with Fire Bones. Skarmory goes for 2 layers of spikes and I go for 3 flame charges to take it down. Next is Mandibuzz, so I change for Gramps, which takes a punishment. Then Mandibuzz goes for Flatter, but we get through Confuse and land a Dragon Pulse, while Mandibuzz goes for Brave Birth, making enough damage for Recall to take it down with my next Dragon Pulse. Next is Toucannon, and I just let Gramps go by the Z-move Supersonic Sky Strike. Then I send Emil, and I use the Z-move Sub-Zero Slammer on Toucannon, making half damage. Then I go for Hyper Fang to take down Toucannon, but we get the burn because of its attack. So next is Oricorio, and we take some more damage from Oricorio, while the Crunch and Hyper Fang don't do nothing. I let also Emil go, and I send next Fire Bones to take down Oricorio with a single Rock Tomb. Last is Crobat, and I also let Fire Bones go, and I send next Tanglemole. Crobat goes for Supersonic and Tanglemole hits itself in Confuse. Then I go for Sucker Punch for some damage while we get hit by an Air Slash. Then another Air Slash leaves Tanglemole on the red and we hit an Iron Head, which Crobat survives on the red. Of course Kahili heals and I go for another Iron Head for some damage, but it's all over and Crobat takes down Tanglemole. I send my last Pokemon, the one that was the last survivor from Hapo's Murdering Spring, Fairy. Crobat goes for Supersonic, but Fairy still can use a Quiver Dance. Then I go for Acrobatics, while Crobat goes for Air Slash. Then a last Acrobatic. Well, I'm disappointed with myself. I should have prepared myself better. I should have catch better Pokemon. I skipped some encounters because I had a good team before Hapo take them all out. But still, I didn't catch more encounters when I should. When I had the chance, I didn't give my all to this challenge, and maybe that's why I lose. I mean, an easy challenge like this and I lost? Well, it happens. I hope at least that this video was entertaining for you guys. I mean, and if it was, put a like and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to lose more challenges like this, and I hope I see you on the next video. Peace.